Hello everyone, Jesse Webb, TradersPro. Market conditions remaining bullish in this bull market. Overall uptrend is still intact. We're working towards the upper range of this current trend, and we've got a really powerful rally off of those lows over the last few weeks. We're now approaching this upper range. We've got sentiment, momentum, and breadth. Breadth is starting to move and starting to catch up, which is good. We want to see that in a market rally. Momentum is a little bit to that upside. I'll show you the sentiment indicator here as well in just a moment. Breadth is also moving pretty aggressively to this upside here. You can see where it had been. It kind of been pausing right around this 49 level, that halfway mark. Bumped up now to that 60-70% range, which is nice. That essentially means that 70% of the overall database is in uptrends, and sentiment also improving. So market conditions are quite bullish right here, minus the fact that we're in this upper range right now. So we need to be a little bit cautious right here. Typically when markets get up into this range, we get some kind of a pullback. This can create, this last area over here created a little divergence where we were up in this range, and then the market ended up moving slightly higher through this one and this one. So the market was moving higher as this was getting weaker. So there are times where we can get a pullback and it creates a little divergence this direction. So, and that is an area that we're at currently where we could get a retracement back down, very easily move back towards that upside. Let's take a look at buy-sell ratio is also looking good right here, nice and solid at 2.56, not extended aggressively to the upside, so that does give us a little bit more room for it to be able to move back up into these ranges, and ideally on a little bit of a pause here to be able to get some of that excess moved out of the markets currently. If we take a look at the S&P 500 and see where it's moving, it's been moving really nicely here to this upside. It's up in it's testing this resistance area around that 450 area, and I'm going to volume off just so that I can slide this over, and we're now in this upper range here. We talked about this retracement zone, and it's in this upper area now. This is the swing high, this is our swing low, and we've got this momentum range. But you can see how aggressively we've moved from here to here, and could use some time to maybe do something like this where we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days of sideways or consolidation versus a retracement. But looking good right here. It's pulling back a little bit out of that extreme. It was a little bit higher up in that 170 range. So often what will happen is this extreme range, it'll move up here, and then the market ends up looking like this. I'm just going to go into this 6-month time frame. The market ends up looking like this, where it's get a big run up, it moves us up to extreme, and then we get 3, 4, 5 days of consolidation, maybe slightly up, maybe slightly down, but it moves that excess back into that buy zone, and that's what the S&P 500 is working on currently. Let's take a look at a couple of other sectors that are out there. In fact, let's go back to this because this is a nice looking profile where we've got everything bullish. We've got bonds moving higher. We've got Russell moving higher. We've got S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, everything moving higher. And we've got volatility moving lower, which is what we want to see right here for continued bullish movement. Let's talk bonds for just a minute because that's still going to be in the news. Remember that when bonds are moving higher, interest rates are moving lower, and so we're seeing that bond moving higher. That next level at the 90 level on TLT, if we can break up above that 90.71 and hold that range, then we're climbing that ladder. That puts us 2 rungs in that uptrend, and that could be decidedly bullish for equities as well, if we can get bonds to move higher, interest rates to move lower, and that's ultimately what we want to be able to continue to see. Leading sectors still construction, aerospace, utilities, and let's take a look at a few of the commodities here. We've got steel, we've talked about that the last few updates where it's been moving into that upper momentum zone, and then the two that we've primarily been focusing on, gold. Gold had a big retracement, pullback, finding support at that 382 back up above that momentum line. So we'll see if this ticks back. It's close to getting back up into that bullish trend on gold. Oil has also been deeply oversold. It's bouncing near that 618 retracement on a pretty nice counter trend move here. You can see a counter trend move just being this is our trending move from this low to this high, a deep three-part counter trend or an ABC retracement. 3 parts meaning it's gone 1, 2, 3. That third part of that counter trend can often flush out the remaining sellers and getting down inside of this buy zone, this 50 to 618 buy zone, and you can see how it just bounced right off of that level. It's got significant amount of work to do because it's just running back up into that resistance. It's going to have a lot of resistance here, but we'll see if oil can bounce back up above that 70. This is USO, which is the ETF, and if it can bounce back up above that 70, we might start to see some momentum back to the upside on oil. Let's take a quick look at the muscle stocks group today. SLNO, this is a biotech, big run up here, big gap a few months ago, but continuing that overall move with a new buy confirmation, 12% on the day, Friday. Stop loss location just below that confirmation bar, and be very careful on stocks like these, smaller position sizes, because they can move up like this, but they can also gap back down the other direction. They are extremely volatile. Let us look at the where am I going here? I want to take a look at the new buy list, SLNO and SMCI. This is a stock that's done really well over the last year. You can see it really had a nice uptrend. Storage company, retracement, working its way back up into that upper range now again. I think it had a little bit of slowdown in earnings. You can see some red in there, but working its way towards that overall up direction on SMCI. And then this GOTU was an interesting stock, particularly on this 1 year time frame, where it has had a deep retracement and it's lasted a long time. We've got a double bottom happening now, and we're starting to turn that corner. You can see it's just running into that 267 level. If we can get up above that 267, 268, could see a move to 322. That's that would be the range to be looking for on GOTU. That's an interesting chart. A lot of these stocks lately in this last run up have had big moves on this kind of a pattern. An uptrend, a retracement, and continuation to the overall upside. That'll do it for today's update. If you don't have full access to the software, you can learn more at the link below, and we look forward to having you. Have a fantastic day today.